February 14th, 9 in the morning. An indeterminable form emerges from the doorway, launching itself across the screen. A struggle emerges. The two silhouettes seem fuzzy, twisted by the fisheye lens. 9:05. The stapler is retrieved. 9:07. First blow. Quarter past. Blows continue. The sorters watch. A small pool of blood begins to form on the floor. Can I still feel it? Ouch. You see what I'm talking about? This place is fucking weird. Security manager inches closer towards us, his eyes darting around in search of hidden danger. I don't know what their deal is, but there's something seriously wrong with these people. Just look at it. The security manager fingers presses to the screen. The screen crackles softly. There's just left in there, yeah? By this point, our expectation of the sorters are low. But it stinks. You've been there, you know. And here's the kicker. It's still there. Not a single soul was like, huh? It seems like an uncomfortable situation, sharing a building with a corpse. So yes, at first it was mostly the sorters, but now I'm scared like 90% of these people. Would have been too easy if the camera plan worked. I don't know what else I expected from a place so intent on keeping its secrets just out of sight. What's that? In their hand. Some kind of paper? A form, maybe. It's too grainy to tell. The angle, too. It's barely covering, what, half of the room? Mostly filming empty space. Don't look at me. I'm not going out there to fix a camera. Security manager bites the inside of his cheek. It's definitely a complaint form. I'm telling you, look at the tick boxes. 9:20. The victim is no longer moving. The perpetrator rummages around the victim's pockets, retrieving a small tubular object. The perpetrator kneels down on the floor and begins to write. Told ya. The complaint seems to be a form of mockery, some kind of sick taunt. 9:45. The killer is still writing. How many pages is it? 3? 4? Quiet, I'm trying to focus. At 9:50, the killer shakes the pen vigorously. Right. Running low on ink. You reckon they'd keep going if they could? Quiet! Within 2 minutes, the complaint is completed and proofread. The pen rests next to its owner. The killer makes their escape. But wait. This isn't even the worst part. Hang on a second, let me just... Security manager leans over the desk, frantically fiddling with his remote. Picture wavers and distort, but the scene stays static. 3 sorters, 1 body. So we see them coming back, right? And look at that! Security manager taps his remote against the glass. The killer's complaint, now stamped, rests atop the body. Did anyone even catch that? Keep watching! Nothing changes as the manager forwards through the footage. Same sorters, same body. Not a soul entering. Not a soul leaving. It gets worse. Here! Oh. A solemn, hulking shape enters the frame, marching towards the body, picks up a paper, places it on the sorter's desk, and leaves. Man, what the fuck is going on? Keep thinking I should go down. I should call for someone. Where would I even put it? Just, like, dump it in the corridor? Hope someone trips over enough to bother moving it? And then, as I was thinking that in my head, I just fucking watch him walk around it. The manager opens his eyes to say something. Instead, he gestures at the screen once again and shrugs. Rip stream? What do you mean, rip stream? Something wrong? I see everything fine on my end. Sure. Where do the sorted complaints go? Half of them in the bin. Guy comes in once a day and collects the rest. Who is he? Where do they go? Who reads them? I've wasted so much time wondering. I don't even care anymore. And if the guy is late, they just pass the paper in a circle again, mix it back up, and sort them. Then half of those end up banned too. Your job. Only been here for 2 months. Weird workplace culture, even weirder colleagues. Every time I get ready to hand in my resignation, something just gets in the way. Fire alarm, power cut, someone standing outside the door. Strange. I think you might be cussed. That'd explain a lot. Who's the guy from the footage? Let's focus on that one. I nod at the screen. Can you identify him? See them walking around with papers, sometimes just up and down the corridor for fun, sometimes with a purpose. Gets them from somewhere, brings them to the sorters, takes them somewhere else. Manager gives another uncertain shrug. Information. What do you think about sorting officers? I think they might be from another dimension or something. Totally removed from reality. Their work takes a special kind of person. The work itself probably doesn't help either. Chicken or egg? Assuming the killer's complaint did pass through disorders, would it still be traceable? Do you know anything about their sorting system? Does anyone? Not sure they're supposed to make sense to human beings. Ask them yourself. Okay. What about HR officer? She sent me a letter telling me off for my lack of corridor presence. That's bad corridor etiquette. Words. Yes, apparently. No chance I'm stepping out there willingly. She's part of the reason, of course. It's like someone's got a gun up to her head. And for every person she optimizes, she gets to live another day. The desperation is palpable. What about the boss? Seen him around a few times. Never in person. Okay, good. Sounds ridiculous, I know, but I was actually beginning to think he's only awake for 5 minutes a day. Let out a small, nervous chuckle. Of course he isn't. I doubt anyone's actually seen him awake at all. As far as I can tell, he only talks in his sleep. Calls it his management style. Stumbling around the office, bumping into things, walking through drywalls, knocking over people. Havoc and destruction follows in his wake. What about stamping officer? I don't know why he dresses like that. But sure. Receptionist. Yeah, we've met. She talks like a recruiter for a cult. I was just sitting there wondering, is this a cry for help? Should I do something? It was like watching an ad for my own job. I guess leave. Thanks for the help. Don't mention it. No, seriously, don't. We never met. I showed you nothing. I'm sure it's probably fine. But honestly, with these people, who knows? Got our next step cut out for us. Killer's complaint has been stamped. Me. It satisfies the prescribed guidelines, given that anonymous complaint there are a thing of the past. Dude, that doesn't seem like the next step at all. I think we might have just solved the entire case. Hold on a minute. First off, this whole plan hinges on our ability to trace the complaint. Beyond a certain point, any belief in this place functionality at all makes you very, very naive, if not outright delusional. Well, if the past is anything to go by, the department's not exactly fabled for its timely murder evidence disposal. I'm not finished. Even if we were to find out the person who carried out the crime, even if we could hold them to justice, this is, at best, the tip of the iceberg. At worst, a decoy. Yeah, not sure I'm following. Open your eyes then, look around. Really ruminate about all the hoops we had to jump through. Stamping desk to reception and back to stamping desk, office after office, drowning in paperwork, choking on the pedantry, the permits, and the waiting. Waiting to get a stamp to get into a room so we can find out which stamp to get to the next room. Waiting for the right to wait. Stamps, signatures, boxes, check boxes, triple checking access forms. And don't even get me started on the employees. The sheer absurdity of it all. Do you genuinely believe a place can be that efficient by what? Accident? Incompetence? Why not? This bureaucratic sinkhole was designed as a bureaucratic sinkhole, and in that, it functions shockingly well. I hear you out, yeah? But if your argument is just administrative nightmares being a horror too primal, too alien to comprehend, I'm not sure that ever stopped them. I was explaining my journey, frustration to complacency to realization. I get to demonstrate the evidence. More, you sir. What evidence should I present? I mean, the sorters, they... Security managers, yeah. May have doubted myself before, but speaking to that manager, it really put things in perspective. You heard it yourself, there's something seriously off with these people. That man, the sorters, valuing a piece of paper over a human life? It's like some kind of esoteric paperwork worship. Oh, yes. Welcome to the office. The man barely noticed the body, but he did not. But he did spot the complaint. You think seeing one of these would be a lot more of a rarity, unless what the manager said at the end, he fears for his life. He's probably like clinically stressed. I get kind of jumpy watching horror movies. Doesn't mean I got unspeakable abominations lurking beneath my bed. Then you think this all, what, coincidence? The cameras just so happen to be grainy. Entering an office just so happened to require a dozen permits. It's a necessity regulation, you see? Not at all just a deterrent from outsiders. No shady shit going on here. I bet the boss asking me to stay in my lane was just a quirky greeting too. Don't you think it's weird that the last bastion of sanity in this building is the only one who's not acquainted with him? By that logic, you're doomed. Hey, it's just a joke. Sorry, I didn't expect you to take it so close to heart. Here's what I don't really get, I guess. You seem to think the murder was an inside job. But I can't think of a single person why someone who actually sees what we do with the complaints would ever bother with filing one. That's like magical thinking. If the murder really was an outsider, they wouldn't be trying to cover it up. That's a fact. So the complaint was what? A red herring? No. It's just like you said. Magical thinking. I think I got it. Let me get my notepad. I'll draw you a diagram. Okay, here's the murderer kneeling over the body to inscribe whatever it is. A text. A message. Ratified by the stamping officer, the inscription rests on the body, soaking in the smell. The sorters keep watch over it. Once the complaint is ready, a gowned man delivers it into the flow of paperwork, keeping the body intact like some kind of relic or offering. Seems ritualistic almost. Look, sir, I can't really read any of that. It looks like gibberish. It does. And the worst part, it makes perfect sense. Now I have to figure out how that toenail clipping charm plays into all this. What the? What? Right, I forgot. You don't know. Some kind of productivity amulet they've sewn into the armrest. Dude, let's get you a nap. Out of the question! Come on. We've got places to be. I'm good. Take it easy, Chief. If I talk to you here... No. Yeah. Can I come in here yet? No. So... Before we go in, make sure you act natural. Don't let them know we know. So anything specific we know right now? Killer's complaint, their involvement with it. Any of this. Tap my notebook against his elbow. Focus! He throws a cursory glance across the page. Fear not. I probably wouldn't be able to let them know all that, even if I wanted to. Hinges creak. The smell gets stronger. Oh, whoa. Something's happened. Okay, things are starting to get a little off. Sky leaks through the cracks. There's something in the bin. Can I look in the bin? I can't look in the bin. Complaints. Front page include name, data stamps. Most of them are dated tomorrow. Tomorrow? Porcelain cup looks a lot deeper on the inside. I can barely see the bottom. Complaints. The front pages include names and data stamps. The dates are written in a small font, making them difficult to read. Complaints. The front page include names, data stamps. Most of the stamps date back to... Sun hasn't moved. It watches. Looks like some kind of embroidery. So many complaints. The meeting will be dreadful. Destination complaints. Once the complaints are sorted, is that it? No, is that it? Where do they go? The man takes them. Where? He clears out my desk and he takes the bin. Then he leaves. Can't deal with this. Can you tell me where he throws the waste at the very least? Big cardboard box, same as the other papers. You mean they mix? She shrugged. If it's the same box, Sorting criteria. The papers, how do you sort them? There's good and bad handwriting. Half of all handwriting are good. The other half I bin. I need you to be more specific. What makes for good handwriting? Adding small decorative strokes at the end of your letters can lead to too much needed grievances. According to our research, handwriting your complaint in Times New Roman doubles your chance of being taken seriously. Excessively large upper loops, on the other hand, are an indicator of disoriented character. They make complaints look irrational and overly sentimental. Right, got it. How else are papers sorted? Time and date. Wait, that one's actually normal. Really? Which one of you does that? None. We simply do not change the order they came in. Inaction maintains the body. They're still here. Always there. Eyes wide open, no longer seeing. What was it? I don't have strong opinions. It's neither my job nor my choice. She remains unfazed. Man who carries. Sorting office have any regular visitors? Young man, comes in daily. He removes complaints. Can you describe him? Large. Carries papers. Yeah, I get that far. How can I find him? Once again, she falls silent. So she's useless. Boss has finally enough complaints for a meeting. Hope all goes well. Designation of complaints. Once you're done, what happens to the complaints? They release misery. And then, it piles up. Then we drown. Oh. Sorting criteria. Can you tell me about the sorting criteria? Complaints can take on a range of different tones. Depending on the complaint's lodger's personality and emotional state, they can be classified as very rude, kind of rude, or not very rude. How do you decide then? Is there a guideline? Sorter nods. Can I get an example? Ending a letter with regards is considered rude. To facilitate positive relationship building, a more personalized and engaging sign-off is recommended. If, however, the complaining lodgers open their letter with an expression of gratitude or offers blessing for the recipient's health, the complaint may be classified as only kind of rude. Oh, I misclicked. Does it affect anything? I see. Moving on. What's the next criterion? And just like that, without saying a word, she turns back to her papers. Body. You need to take it out. This whole place is swarming with flies. Keeps the spiders busy. She shrugs apathetically. Ah, gross. There's a man who comes here sometimes. Can you tell me about him? Sort of stares at me. Her face wears an expression of blind confusion. Dons a robe, brings papers here, takes them back. Come on. I get the papers from the right, then I pass them to the left. I have no need for an outsider. He's unfamiliar. Clench my fist. So you're useless too? We've had a large backlog of complaints. Next week there will be a meeting. Waiting. I'm waiting, Dori. I'm waiting. I saw the corpse smile. Why was I waiting for that? I don't want to see. What happens once the complaints are sorted? The boss demands them. I'm aware. Does he read them? Does anyone read them? Huh? Oh, sweet God, it does. I see that now. Ugh, no. I don't want to think about that. The body? Are you just gonna keep it in there? It's rotting. Sort of stares past me with a devastating blankness. Love your keyboard. How are the papers sorted? Our state-of-the-art scanning system is highly sensitive to color vibrations. Only officially designated hues are allowed. When the papers arrive, I sort them by ink color. Then the papers depart. I survey the neat stack of sorted papers. Reds, greens, blacks. Any reason behind the 4 blue piles? Light blue, baby blue, French blue, navy. You can find a comprehensive list of approved shades of blue ink by contacting the Ink Regulation Bureau. Any other criteria? Sort of remains silent. Can you tell me about the man who visits this room? Sorter looks at me with a black stare. That yard got an eye. He wears something like a robe, has a bunch of papers on him. Comes in once a day. Oh, the yarn. Yeah, I've seen that. I don't like it. He delivers complaints. Who is he? Does he have a job title? Where does he get the complaints? I repeat, where are the complaints stored prior to sorting? She does not answer. Uh, so... Papers feel warm to the touch. I can't even interact with the body. So... Why did I come in here then? I slide the empty pen in my pocket. The maw of the sorting office snaps shut behind my back. Whoa! Okay, hang on a minute. Hold on. Ugh, my tea's cold. During our original investigation, the oldest complaint on the sorter's desk dated back to 2 days ago, which at the time would have been 2 days after the murder, something like that. Another cup of coffee, okay. By this point, I've sorted no two ways about it. If the murderous complaint truly was put back into circulation right now, it's with the robed man, whoever and wherever he is, sorted by ink, color, tone, handwriting, and date. The mug jitters in my hand. That's what we need. Color, tone, handwriting, date. So long as we know at least two, the rest can be deduced, brute forced even. Ink, color, tone, and... I was probably just imagining it. I must have been. Is what I want to tell myself. Only I'm not the kind of guy whose imagination would ever play tricks of monsters in the night. I rarely get carried away. Sure, I may not be the most pleasant company. I'm pragmatic to the bone, and people don't like that. They'll call you unimaginative or self-absorbed or stubborn. Just for knowing truth from falsehood and not asking permission before speaking your mind. All that is to say I'm not impressionable by them in the way most people are. I keep my wits about me, and I saw it with my own two eyes. The sorter's yarn clumped up on the into this dense, fleshy texture twisting around the leg of her desk, soft and pliable and like wet meat. Then, as soon as I looked, it would stop moving as though mocking me, as though trying to contaminate my thoughts with a noxious blend of suspicion and skepticism. That's good. Sounds like a plan, and, all such. That being said, if the complaint is already archived, or read, or lost, or eaten, or binned, or whatever it is they do with them, it's not really that urgent anymore, right? Don't tell me you're getting cold feet. Yeah, sure, why not? I'm just super stressed out with all these government conspiracies, ritualistic murders. Wow, am I right? I was thinking perhaps we could afford a little break. I know what you're going to say, but us, we're losing brain cells. I'm perfectly lucid. I'm losing brain cells. Better clock, sir. Global coffee supplies no more. You drank it all, crashing the entire Brazilian economy. I've made myself clear, no? Sleep isn't safe here. Sure, we'll sleep in shifts, no biggie. That's not the problem. Sorry. I don't know if they're just trying to keep me away from the crime scene. I don't know if it's something worse. But in the time I've spent here, it's like everything around me seems almost deliberately designed to get me to conk out. The queue, stretching for hours with all this hypnotic ambient hum and nowhere to sit, not even to stretch your legs. Coffee station spaced just slightly too far. The comically tiny mugs. Hey, I did get you a bigger one. And you gain my trust. Oh. Receptionists seem to pick the most mind-numbingly boring conversation topics on purpose. I don't think I've ever been so completely unstimulated. The boss, just being his presence made me feel like I was the one sleepwalking. Even the stamping officer, he spent, I don't even know how long, trying to taunt me into sleeping. Said something or other to the extent of having a dream I won't forget. Ah, yes, the old dream a dream so grand it becomes a nightmare. They're draining me, physically, mentally. They're trying to see how long I'm going to last. I may be at my limit, sure, but I can just tell that as soon as I give in, some horrible change will begin to unravel. Dude, I've napped here, what, maybe 3, 4 times? In places you can't even imagine. No changes at all, still the same department, still the same old me. Haven't even been sacrificed to him. Makes a vague gesture at my notebook, but I only grip it tighter. Okay, so we still can't go in there. You are 100% going to faceplant. Maybe we should get you into a swivel chair. Well, bring to the rescue. Find a murderous complaint, we need to know how it was sorted. Yep. Oh. No. Okay, so we go back. Boss hums. He's preparing for the meeting. Equipment office. Of the 4 sorting criteria, tone and handwriting are out. We don't have a psychological profile of the killer. Therefore, we'll have to rely on approximate date and ink color. I retrieved the victim's pen out of my pocket, holding it before me. Is this where you keep the stationery? Probably. Can't think what other equipment an office could possibly have. I've never been either. Free pens are only a perk for full-time employees. Like the senior efficiency specialist checks out. The pen may be empty, but if we compared it to the supply, we'll figure out the ink shade in no time. That's good, because that's the exact amount of time we got left till your body gives out. My hair's just stripped trying to feed him. Oh my god. You need rest, apparently. Kind of making me feel responsible. Complicit, almost? Not a great feeling. If you ask me. Let's just finish the case. As fast as we can, and just hope you don't cease the operation while still on site, lest you get eaten by paperwork cultists, or worse yet, fall and crack your head open. Intern seems exhausted. I push the door. Stay where you are! Not again. You are snooping around with no access permission again, and you do not get free pens. It's the second time I catch you red-handed. Believe me when I say there will not be a third chance. Maybe, I haven't really gotten to talk to you. Equipment manager. No corridor presence. Oh god, it is. Oh my god. Went to my high school, actually. Wasn't always like this. She's changed a lot. Her duties really took it out on her. You'll see, I guess. Stamping officer? Just because I didn't catch him out yet doesn't mean he's invincible. If he ever comes to a him or me scenario, he better watch out. Receptionist? Nutcase worships the boss, and so what? She can't even do anything. I'm not scared of her. I'm not. Sorting officers? No corridor presence. They're allowed, though. They're the arteries of the department. Man who brings papers. Delusions of grandeur. Peaked in high school. Completely insufferable. If I was you, I wouldn't bother looking. Not a modicum of self-awareness. Security manager. No corridor presence. Unacceptable. As soon as he is out, though, it's game on. What about the senior efficiency specialist? Corner of her mouth seems to tug in opposite directions. Why are you asking me this? The boss likes me. We're on good terms. I was spared from the complaint resolution branch layoffs. That's gotta count for something. I'm hardworking, but I have potential. Sometimes I read newspapers on company time. I've been late to work before, so, comparatively speaking, I'm not the worst. So long as that remains the case, I'm fine. One way or another, it's none of your business. What about next week's meeting? Well, it's going to happen eventually. There's no point lamenting it. Nothing can be affected. Nothing can be changed. All things considered, we're in a pretty good position. At the very least, we all know first. And it will be quick. I guess blink very hard and hope she goes away now. Shoot, she's still there. She gone yet? Never mind. Nope, nope, doesn't work. Dang it! Give up. I guess that's that. They watch me as I vanish inside the vast spiral of the queue. There's whispers now, and talking. Or worse, singing. The quiet humming streaming from the cracks in office doors. Doors closing where they were only walls. People skip and stutter like a scratched record, sudden spasm-like movements snapping them back into place every time I shut my eyes. Then they'd get blurry, wrapping and waving again. The lights refract back and forth through the coffee steam. I blink once again, the coffee is cold. Like my tea, it's very cold, and I hate it. Oh, that's disgusting. Oh my god. Blech. Stamping officer scrutinizing me with his sinister stare. For a self-proclaimed defender of truth, you, sir, do seem afraid of revelations. All this is so utterly incomprehensible. Look at me, I'm the detective. I love truth, just not the ones that distort the fundamental fabric of reality. You absolute wimp. Okay, okay, you buffoon. What? I'm seeing things. I said you're a wimp and a buffoon. God, your brain must be fried. You are quite literally the world's most self-important pushover. Him and his tentacles scare you. Good. You're a particular combination of ego and spinelessness. It feels almost like meeting an eco-friendly oil baron. It makes one question the fundamental fabric of reality. Don't play dumb. You said something about revelations? Somehow I feel like it wasn't one. I'm sure people say this to you a lot. Still, if you truly want to pull back the veil of your perception, you know what you need to do. I scratch my face to ward off the urge to sleep, my nails sticking in too deep. When I look, their borders are rimmed with a faint pinkish ribbon of blood. I, Latifib, request permission to ask you for the reason of pen. Got a second typing. It's fine. We all have those days. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I saw those shadow demons. Information. Security manager. How long has it been now? 2 months? How long has non-believer lasted? 3. There is shadow people. Oh my god. Reason is my friend. Looking at you, I can't help but wish you too had glimpsed what they did. Maybe then you too would choose to stay silent. I'm just gonna keep moving fast so those shadows don't come in. More of your opinions? We can see what you're doing. You're not fooling anyone by forcing others into efficiency. She ensures a constant flow of lucrative targets. Whichever way you look at sabotage, naturally it'll cost her. She's just not smart enough to understand it. Is that what you wanted to hear? Receptionist. I literally just got a restraining order. She's already found a way to circumvent it. Look at you running her errands. A self-proclaimed guardian of order. Getting cozy with the herald of chaos. Tread carefully with that one, detective. Those who don't serve her own interests make for precarious allies. Pen? Yes. Yes, reason is pen. Wait. Pen! I need pen! Same as every other boss. I have to work for him to survive. His visions don't appeal to me. I'm in no position to bargain. Over time, you'll learn to make some sacrifices. Sometimes, it even makes me feel less small. Sinuous wisps of smoke swirl around his fingers. Those are not smoke, buddy. Demand to know what's going on. Aren't you supposed to be What is it? Mystery unconcealer, beast undisguiser, bringer of order. What's wrong, chosen one? Struggling to concentrate? My vision blurs and refocuses in a story-ending loop. Oh, sweet God! Maybe you should sleep on it after all. Go fuck yourself. Ask about that. What's done is done. I want nothing to do with it. Yeah, no, that isn't so not happening. He's been scheduling a meeting every other week for the past 2 years. Still pending. I'm sure it'll happen one day. For now, I wouldn't sweat it. Let me out. Let me out. Oh. Me no likey. Me no likey. No. Talk to receptionist. More information. Security manager. Oh my god. Yes. Him. He mostly keeps to himself, I think. Locked all alone in his watchtower, looking at us from afar. Obvious that sometimes the observer himself is observed. Sorting officers? Ah, yes, the boss holds him in high regards. I'll have you know, not anyone can be a sorter. You need special kind of attunement, I guess. Some call to gifts, some call to curse, knowing the will of that which was writing and that which shall read. Standing officers too? Oh my gosh, stop. Was it obvious? You're right, though. We're pretty much made for each other. Like if some. Okay, I already read that. Um. No, I don't. Fine. Pen storage. Our equipment storage is down the corridor, right next to the boss office. It's like super soaked with misery. You'll love it. I don't think I'll like it. HR officer. Bearing her mind her little productivity boosting campaigns around the hallway. I just know she's destined to be next senior efficiency specialist any day now. Oh, there's flies. Oh god. There's no reason to pity her though. In a way, it's an honor. The boss? The boss? He's like literally the best. I love him so much. I plastered pictures of him all over my bedroom so he can watch me sleep. I love casual Fridays. And bring your lunch. Bring lunch for your boss Tuesday. Have you seen any other workplace that does this? Such a visionary. It's fantastic. Leaves you so utterly speechless. Watching him roam the employee lounge, casting a shadow of dread which stretches over those unfortunate enough to be found. Oh, fun. There went stream for a second. His visage seared into my consciousness like a brand of madness. I don't think I can do it justice. Our world, our thoughts, our imaginations cannot stretch far enough to encompass his unfathomable grandeur. Yeah. No, that wasn't a bit. That actually just happened. It's like trying to capture an ocean in a teacup. If you're lucky enough that, you might just get to see it with your own eyes. See, even this game's affecting stream. Actually, that just reminded me of something. Hang on, let me see. Nope, still good, okay. Demand know what's happening. I'm sorry, Mr. Detective. You'll sleep a lot better if you don't. I can feel myself beginning to sweat. Right. Oh, I saw the 3 eyes. Can I keep forgetting about the back button. Try rest. A dreadful thing will happen if I close my eyes. So I can't close my eyes. 0 rest whatsoever. And the intern's now gone. Leave me alone! Please. Still would. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. You're on your own. Not my area of expertise. Room is damp with peeling plasters. Plastic shelves stacked with small plastic boxes. I thought you were the equipment manager. Dori? Exactly. Not equipment connoisseur. They all look the same to me. The equipment manager shrugs. Right? If you want something with strong opinions on pen hues, I suggest getting in touch with the receptionist. Glass bottles of varying shapes and shades and sizes are piled on the manager's desk. My hunch is she's day drinking, but I can't say for certain whether it's still daytime. Who could have thought matching pen to shade would prove so arduous a task? 2 dozen boxes with different labels sprinkled here and there in a vast disorganized compartment. Time to get a long hairstyle. Yes! Quarter of them missing caps. At least 3 were actually Sharpies. Ugh. Pens tumble, clattering against the floor. Dude, I've got this. It's just looking through pens. Couldn't mess it up if I wanted to. We'll finish way faster, the both of us on it. Not when you include the time for picking up the pens. I didn't even think, Dory. I thought of something else. Really? Dory with long hair would be cool. This is the 4th time you've dropped a box. I now have had 5 cups of coffee. The same box. In the same spot. So, I need to keep my hands occupied. Stops me from drifting off. That feels like an argument in my favor. Sorry about that, ma'am. The ceiling is dotted with flies and powdery mildew. I push to get myself off the ground. Not worth the struggle, if you ask me. Her flat voice drones right next to my ear, sending an unsettled tremor down my spine. Human bodies can only do so much. They're not really compatible with the kind of pressure. I mean, the hair is a reddish brown on my monitor. It looks way different than Dory's black and white. I think that's just kind of the art style with the reddish brown. It's kind of black at the top. The intern is rummaging around the pen compartment, his back turned towards me, humming quietly as he works. Oh, and the hairs are squid tentacles. Sooner or later, sleep will take over. It's best not to fight it. The ground shifts underneath me. I used to be like you once. Her weary face barely moved as she spoke, like a lifeless mask of skin stretched across her skull. Sleepless night after sleepless night, just to escape the visions. Giving in, though, it's peaceful. Honestly, in the long run, you'll barely remember what your life was before. Nothing to compare to, nothing to regret. It's almost hypnotic. Flesh tuber Dory. Yes! Oh god, it is blood. Her words making my breathing deepen and my eyelids droop. My body's yearning to find refuge in these comforting lies. Think I've got it! Baby blue! The intern exclaims proudly as I have no choice but to trust him. The boundaries of the 2 pens shift and blur and merge together. Yeah, looks like a match. Looking at her makes me feel dizzy. Her blank, unmoving face makes it hard not to wonder. Doria's red hair? What visions she must have seen when she succumbed to embrace of sleep. Anything else? You know what? Your opinion on it, everyone. We don't talk much anymore. She was cool back in high school. Afterwards, things don't really work out. Would I say I'm sad? In a way, I suppose. Not in a way that actually make me get off my butt, though. I wish. It's naturally dark brown. This job bled me dry. I like my personal space. What's she up to anyway? Not often I get to hear office gossip. Yelling at people in corridors. Failing to cultivate office plants? Sounds about right. Did you know that I was actually the one who encouraged her to apply? So I suppose that's another brick in the guilt wall. She shrugs and raises her glass. Sorting officers. Honestly, I get it. They do their job. No question, no judgment, no chit-chat. If I was in their place, I'd do the same thing. Unfortunately, my job is a little less perceptive. I too have a guilt wall. Mood! And a little more active. Security manager. We have one? Huh. The boss. Isn't he something? Lots to say. Working for him used to get. Let's go with uncomfortable. You already know his deal, right? Feeds off human suffering. That does explain a lot. I don't laugh. For some reason, I can't help but doubt whether she truly means it as a joke. Gave me all these weird thoughts of cosmic insignificance and pains of nihilism. Now, as far as resources go, I've got no misery to spare. By this point, I'm more or less emotionally flatlined. Call it workplace burnout. Things are looking up. Receptionist talks too much. A lot of times she's out of her depth. Her whole embracing the terror, abandoning the trapping of sanity shtick. I find it irritating. We don't really choose how to process these things, though. So maybe that's not fair to me. She shrugs lightly. To each their own. Stamping officer? Eh, don't really care, to be honest. Is that rude? She shrugs. Always something or someone to complain about. Just take the pen and go. This isn't a crisis hotline. What about the meeting? About time. It's gonna happen sooner or later, so might as well get it over with. Been a good run on the whole. Did some things, met some people. Can't complain. Feeling pretty positive about it, all things considered. Her job. Pens, paper, staplers. Occasionally, someone will poke their head in and ask me to fix a printer jam. Like I'm working in a kindergarten, but for adults. That's the better part of the job. And the worst part? Humans are also equipment. It's not all me, of course. But I'm the only one clearing out equipment written in the job description. So unless there's fingers getting pointed, I'm usually the one who comes to mind. Do you even realize who you're telling this to? More or less. What are you gonna do? Arrest me? I think we both know you got better things to do. I want to shake the intern so hard his brain kicks back into place. He catches my eyes and smiles, perfectly nonchalant, as though the sentiment that just left the manager's lips was completely par for the course. Mundane, even. What kind of count are we talking about? Bit rude of ask, no? Couldn't tell you if I wanted to. Over time, you learn to zone it out. Get in the autopilot. All that's left now? A vague sense of guilt. A lot of fatigue. Ask about leave. No. Oh. Murder. Sorry, I don't follow office politics. Just leave then. As the manager speaks, I shoot the intern frantic glance after frantic glance. Wait, retired equipment senior efficiency specialist? Hopeful that even if he doesn't trust my conclusion, he can at least trust his ears. I don't know why I ever hoped for his understanding, his safety. Maybe it's the weakness known as human sympathy. Maybe I found his company pleasurable, for the most part. Maybe it's that he didn't strike me as half as dense as he painted himself. Or maybe it was just hard to believe that even with the danger mode so unmistakably clear time and time again, person after person repeating thoughts that range from peculiar to unthinkable, someone can still simply overlook it. Just like that. I stare at the intern in disbelief as he looks back, and his gaze exudes such absolute tranquility. Peaceful and clueless, not the slightest hint of suspicion polluting his friendly demeanor. It almost makes me want to throw my coffee cup into the wall, watching it burst into splinters. On the intern's neck, two new slits have been forming. A finely textured pattern of thin, sinuous membranes stretched around him. His chest rising and falling, and the pulsating membranes move ever so slightly out of sync, as though something was sending waves through his body. I could sense a wave of nausea coming up. Soft, bluish green gills contracting rhythmically like they were swayed by the currents. Ugh. You good? Want some water? His gills gurgled. My heart dropped. Maybe that was the worst of it, that I had the optimism, the hopefulness to feel petrified, even though I knew this would happen. From the moment he mentioned sleeping in this godforsaken place, I knew he was screwed, and I let myself put his shit aside. On the off chance he was right. It's pathetic, almost. I so desperately want to believe I was overreacting. Unfortunately, my instincts have yet to fail me. I have a track record for accurate conclusions. He's gone now. There's nothing to be done about it. I might not know how, but I feel like I know why. I take a step back. Hey, careful, man. There's a step, but ah! Nothing to be done. Without turning my back, I fumble for the door and rush out. unable to bear witness to his nightmarish metamorphosis as he veers further from familiar contours, twisted into a form barely reminiscent of humankind. There's no one else left to trust in this doomed, desolate realm. Not anymore. As I step from the door, I find myself sprinting and suddenly out of breath. I'm ashamed to say I'm not normally one for exercise. Still, I pressed on, brisk jog morphing into a hobbling stride as the corridor warps around me, conscious of the need to finish it quickly, while I still can. I don't know if they're coming for me. I don't know what would happen if they got to me. I just know deep in my bones that I wouldn't want to find out. Like humans know, instinctively, to steer clear of things that dwarf us in size or distort our own proportions. As the pieces are in place, all that's left is to lure out the robed man, one who carries paper. My eyes dart across the reception desk, desperate to find any potential makeshift weapon, maybe artifact of power. It dawns on me. Within this domain, the only logic that holds sway is the unspeakable logic of a nightmare. My fingers tremble and stiffen as I reach for my first stack of papers. They almost slip away from my grasp. Burn, submerging coffee. Rip. Submerging coffee. Papers folded and tossed into my cup. It absorbs moisture, sinking into the murky liquid. The fibers soften and break down, small fragments detaching and drifting up to the surface. The ink blurs and smears, swirling in delicate tendrils at the dark bottom of the cup. I wait for the paper to curl and contort and slowly disintegrate into a soggy lump. The receptionist watches. In all likelihood, I look completely deranged, but I'm certain this will work. What do you think you're doing? And just like that, my modest summoning ritual delivers. And you're not even going to intervene? Or do you keep finding these freaks? Give. He points at the remaining stacks of paper stretching out his arm. I back away, dangling the papers just out of reach, my heart hammering into my rib cage. I need to speak with you. Yeah? Who the hell are you? Detective. Assigned to investigate recent murders of your senior efficiency I wasn't asking. I was insulting you. You absolute tool. Mind-boggling insolence. Walk in, sow chaos, feel entitled to people's time. To my time. And what time we must live in if a measly ant with a job dares disturb a man with a mission. That's actually what I want to ask about. Okay, well, I could have started with that. Huh? I have no interest in the lives of pedestrians such as yourself. The sheer banality of your existence is bores me to tears. Yet, it's not every day that one encounters someone capable of delving into the deepest recesses of knowledge and thought. In a conversation that will match the exalted heights of my intellect, I may not respect you, but I respect your open-mindedness. You may ask, I might be feeling a touch of pressure. Well, what is your mission? What a wonderful question. I tip my hat off to you. I am the carrier of papers. I'm something like the boss's messenger. You bring the complaints to him then? Not exactly. I bring the complaints for him. They aren't read. I wish that was a shock. Must be something about the way he said it. A kind of malicious magnetism about his murmurs, hollow and distant as though coming through a thick fog. Beads of sweat form at my temples, slithering down an interweaving path. Do you just leave him in his office? Carrier breaks out in a laugh, and it keeps rising in pitch, pushing way beyond the conceivable range. My ears begin to ring. You moron! There wouldn't have been space. We leave them in the archive, where they can yellow and collect dust and rot. Never cleared out. I can imagine it so clearly now. An intricate labyrinth of paper, sepia tone stacked, reaching a distant ceiling that seems to touch the heavens. Stacks upon stacks, imposing columns accumulate, then fray, then fade, then are replenished. The air suffused with a faint rustling of pages, as though I've been there in my dreams. Can you take me there? What? storage site, archive, whatever. I need to see it. You seem eager. I must be an aspiring narrator. I could. Great. But you'll need a slip. I am in charge of the department's corridors, of which I am the lifeblood. As such, trespassing I cannot endorse. What about the HR officer? Silence! Don't you dare mention her in my presence. She's a fraud, and an imposter, and a rat. All she does is nag, complain, and sabotage the boss's interest. She didn't deserve his forgiveness. I detest her, and one day I am convinced she will pay. You've distracted me. Once your access form is ready, you'll have but to find me, and I shall take you there. Hey, welcome in! But, and this is important, no more property destruction. It's too ostentatious and annoying. I'll give you the door to my office. Ask about the crime. No, fool. I refuse to entertain your foolish chit-chat or simply listen to empty gossip. You may only ask me good questions. I'm out. I'm leaving. I guess I'm going back to Q. That voice hurt my throat. I need my second drink. Hang on a second. Yes, I did prepare 2 drinks for this. So what? Oh! I've been writing a while. Writing as I queued, saving time. With each stroke, the pen stuttered, its ghostly lines breaking and fragmenting as the ink struggled to cling to paper. Then it ceased altogether. Just past the access form collection point. I could have stepped out, I suppose. Paid a visit to the equipment office. But I've been standing for so long. My mind, my body, growing ever so weary. So I ran my fingers along the edge of my broken hand watch, wincing as they slid along the rim, tiny shard embedding into flesh like diamonds, dark crimson droplets welling up like ah. I pressed my finger to the paper hard, watching the blood twist and deform through the fibers. I dipped the tip of my pen into it. I write. I request permission to access storage for reason of please. Oh my god. Pen ran out. Sorry. Oh my god. Well, that's a little scary. Not the first time I've seen something written in blood, though. Nobody said anything. Not the stamping officer, not the carrier of papers. All of them, motionless, suspended in time and looking at me like statues, blank, unseeing, serene, as the air itself hangs with dreadful foreboding. I watched the carrier's face fade out of vision as the door shuts tight, reverberating through the air with a resounding thud. It's eerily quiet here. If you strain your ears, you can hear the soft rustling of teeth gnawing on paper. The air is stingy, stagnant, too humid for paper storage, and smells like solvent. I spread the papers across the floor. Baby blue ink. Timestamp within 30 hours of the crime. An air of disquiet permeates the archive. Rows upon rows of black shelves circling its perimeter like shadowy guardians. I feel myself leaning forward, shielding the papers with my body as though they were trying to spy. Begin reading. Oh, that's a Rat King, okay. I hold the first paper to the light. 14th of February, marked as, not very rude. Complaint form, person lodged a complaint to the Department of Health. Whose fault? Mine. Desired outcome. Restitution. Please confirm you have attached all required documents. Complaint, identification, cover, statements, timeline of event, medical records, previous correspondence, supporting research expert opinion, 1402. It's February 14th, 10:40. There was a bit of an accident. I hope this letter finds you well. I just wanted to express my gratitude for the care and attention I received during my treatment. You guys were awesome. That being said, I had a follow-up check today, and apparently Dr. Blib had kinda left a fishing hook inside me. What? Don't worry, no alarm or drama or hard feelings. I was just wondering if any other departments may have been involved. This doesn't seem normal. Oh. I literally just read that, and now you're giving me this? Uh-huh. My eyes wander between the lines. The words wander too. Every time I look away, the letters seem to shift or change order. Entire sentences keep going missing, almost like the text itself doesn't want to be read. I rub my eyes. The letters swim. I continue. A harsh metallic smell hits my nostril. The page is mirrored with an irregular crimson smear. Its edges retain a hint of moisture. The complaint dates on the 14th of February, marked as very rude. Complaint title. You guys, fuck. This place is fucking awesome. Good night. Whose fault? Ours. Just venting. I feel uneasy, as though this note was intended for me. Read more? Or reach over. 15th of February, marked as not very rude. Department of Complaints. Whose fault? Mine? Other. Gratitude card? It's just me, or did it get static, Buzzy? No, that's the game. Complaint title. Thank you. Hope this letter finds you well. I wanted to talk about something that happened during my recent visit to the Department of Complaints. Please don't get me wrong. I know you guys are doing your best, but I couldn't help noticing the rather long waiting times in the stamp queue. It was the best sleep I've had in years. I feel so refreshed and alive, almost like I was born anew. My eyes are transfixed by the page. I can't look away. Keep reading. I grope for the next complaint. It's the 15th of February, marked as kind of rude. Oh. Oh, God. Yes. I was asked to give a tribute of flesh as proof of my devotion to the great sleeping one. It's been 3 months. Was he satisfied? Does he crave? Surprise! Shadowy tendrils are creeping up the floor. Oh my God! I lurch for the paper, shifting them away from encroaching danger. I must keep reading. The dread starts to settle in. I have to know. It's the 14th of February, marked as kind of rude. I get a strange feeling of deja vu. I've seen this note before. Detective. I'm ready to express concern over things to come. I feel change start to happen. Please respond. Kind regards, Detective. I didn't write that. It's definitely my handwriting. I've been here last February, neglecting to sort complaints by years. It's the exact kind of practice I've come to expect from the department. Everything matches up, except I didn't write this. I couldn't have. The words stare at me from the page, as though mocking me. I can feel them pulsate with eerie energy. Still reading? Yes, I cannot stop. My hands move to wander out as the shadows envelop the densely packed double-sided page, dated 15th of February, marked as very rude. Oh. Oh. Hours? Our fault, litigation, restitution, promotion, apology, explanation, just venting. Major promotion. Have everything. Job application. I write this letter to express my deep devotion on the great sleeping one and offer myself as a vessel for his unfathomable essence. The queen left my mind fractured. The weight of misery lodged in the hands grew ever so heavier as the hours ticked by until I could bear it no longer. I broke down crying. I could not stop crying for weeks. Tears just kept coming, like someone had thrust their fist into my chest and wrenched out my heart. As my mind drifted to sleep, he beckoned me with his ancient call, his tendrils slithering into the depths of my psyche. I saw it all, the inconceivable horror, the unspeakable glory, such terrible, beautiful visions that transcended the very limits of human comprehension. I was caught in the throes of perpetual nightmare, faced with that eldritch force that feasts on our pain, the abyssal truth of his power gnashing at the edge of my shattered mind. Having glimpsed the true nature of the universe, I have solace in his encompassing, all-encompassing bureaucratic madness. There's another. The patron of complaints has become my god, my savior, my guide. I sacrificed my first child in the queue. I taught myself to handwrite in the serified typeface. I attended a complaint submission workshop. I was postponed twice. It was postponed twice and overran by 3 hours, reminding me of the infinitesimal nature of humanity in the face of the vast and unknowable cosmos. My worship is not a plea for salvation. It is a celebration of the inevitable, a recognition of the significance of my despair. The truth has driven me to seek something greater, to surrender to the embrace of all cosmic malevolence, and become a vessel for his interest. I am keen to demonstrate my resilience and problem-solving skills in doing the great sleeping one's biddings, by bringing the inevitable cosmic cataclysm that is his awakening. Please find my CV attached, with deep grievances. I can feel my heart pounding in my throat. Stuck to the note are a few bloody aluminum staples and a lock of human hair. The brisk sound of a slap reverberates through the storage room, leaving my forehead stinging. Of course, I knew I was right. From the very start, I was merely looking for a confirmation, something, anything. Would have settled for a weird poem, an offhanded mention of a shady senior supervisor. I collapsed on the floor, as though someone punched the air out of my lungs, leaving me breathless, gasping, disoriented. Wish I could feel accomplished, satisfied, smug even. Being correct is great. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. It's like getting a high five from the universe, except this time it feels more like some cruel cosmic joke. For the first time in my career, I would have loved to have been proven wrong. I lay on my back, motionless, staring into the ceiling and watched the cracks weave together into an intricate web, as though this room has claimed me as its prey. What now? Will I be consumed? So this is some cosmic horror. I guess so? Case closed, I suppose. I can hear the papers rustle between my trembling fingers. Wouldn't it be nice if that's how my story ended? If I could just go on pretending like everything's fine? As though the world around me stayed intact and my reality isn't bursting at the seams? There was a way for me to find rest without finding closure. I still feel an gnawing sense of guilt in at the intern's fate. Like his dreaded transformation was, in some way, the fault of my curiosity. Perhaps my lack of persuasion. I think it's more than that, though. It's also a thirst, an itch that won't subside. Ever since the storage room had opened its doors to me, a craving for sinister knowledge has been gnawing at my mind. Sweet as a siren's song, it teased me with half-baked revelations, until I found myself at the very edge of the abyss, staring into the darkness, knowing full well it will consume me whole. The boss is waiting for me in his office, filled with slumber and sinister whispers. I can feel his doors opening up for me. Long time no see, detective. The stamping officer welcomes me with a smile. I request permission access to welcome back. The great sleeping one seems like a Cthulhu type figure. Hope you find what you've looked for, detective. Until next time. Oh, sweet God. The boss is expecting you, Mr. Detective. Nighty night, sleepyhead. Had a hunch this might happen. Oh well. Have a good rest. Still what? God, James! Good, good night. Sleep well. Sweet dreams. Did I fall asleep on accident or something? The room is unlocked. Inside slumbered the great sleeping one. Its limbs reached and withdrew. Oh my god! Contorted angles and sharp edges, warping and bending, mocking the very laws of geometry, shaping shapes that twist and convulse and repulse in a way the mind cannot fathom. The vast amount of undulating tentacles and stretched skin, writhing and slithering, oozing a vicious black ink, the, the viscous black ink as it moved, with a sickening fluidity, like a knife cutting its way through butter. It grew. The universe dwindled. For every time I think I should leave or this is hell, every complaint and every morbid thought, for every moment wasted feeling numb or hopeless, he gets bigger. Oh my god, his magnitude tearing reality apart at the seams. It radiates dread and awe in equal measures, a presence that distorts and twists the mind in knots. Its form, if one could even dare call it that, seared into my consciousness like a brand of madness. His continents house the very essence of chaos, a shadow that eclipses night. I see it now. I know not how long it's been looking at me, or I at it. Time was suspended as soon as he set his eyes on me. Or maybe he has been looking all along. A countless abundance and eyes dotting the entire expanse of his enormous warped mountain of a body. Each eye, in its magnitude, its power, bore the haunting luminescence and otherworldly glow of a distant star, flickering in a cosmic void light years away, perhaps long since deceased. Each giant orb supervised and scrutinized, surveying the universe, his incomprehensible gaze devoid of empathy or sense or compassion. Invasive. The boss was a manifestation of cosmic malevolence, heralded by a symphony of eerie whispers, chittering cries, unearthly wails, echoing through the very fabric of my being. He showed me visions, so I can see myself queuing. It's intimate, almost. Just me, the chilling vastness of the universe, its remorselessness, passage of time as seconds and minutes and hours and years tick away. No one else in the queue. I am the mass of people, melting into the void with no taste and preference. I am the space filler, valued for the volume, wearing all their faces at once, blurry and indistinct in my striped office suit, my black necktie, my blazer shoulder pads making me feel bigger so I no longer feel so small. It towers over me, the enormity of what lies beyond the veil. Years pass, and I'm stood in the very spot, motionless as though glued in place. There's desks around me, and clocks to watch, and walls, and cubicles. So vast and spacious, a trap so full of boundaries, so many angles, the world whirls on you. I'm waiting to leave the queue, then waiting to get home, then waiting to go back, waiting to live my life, which has become the waiting. 2/3 of the day robbed, a life sold, a life squandered. Stagnant like the great sleep. There I stand, waiting, growing cold. Bad ending! Right back at you. You have new complaints in your collection. Oh, it's just all these again. Where's my passport? What? Hang on a second. It's a bit of an accident. I saw that one. You guys suck. Why do I have to attach so many documents? There was a bit of a queue. I hope this letter finds you well. I want to talk about something that happened during my recent visit to Department of Claims. Please don't get me wrong. I got that die. Hmm. I mean, I get these admin things take time, but this wait was like watching a really long movie marathon, except there's no popcorn and also no movies. On second thought, I'm not sure this metaphor makes sense. Just thought I'd throw in my 2 cents about the whole queue thing. If there's a way to make this a tad snappier, it'd be awesome. No worries if not, though. Warmest regards. Keep up the good work. Respectfully. Where's my passport? I was asked to give an original copy of my passport as proof of ID with my last complaint. It's been 3 months and I still haven't gotten it back. How is that coming along? Please set up a phone line. I'm running out of documents. 5 cases at once today. I'm writing to express concern regarding my increasingly heavy workload. While I'm committed to fulfilling my responsibility and serving the community with the expectations of being at 5 crime scenes at the same time makes me question if our department might perhaps be understaffed. Do not remember anymore. I'm writing this letter to express my deep frustration with the recent visit to the Department of Complaints. After a staggering 20-hour wait, I was finally able to see the stamping officer who refused to ratify my complaint, citing the usage of non-aluminum staples. Simply removing the staple would deem as trace of non-approved metals can present fire and explosive risk for the department's state-of-the-art scanning system. I was therefore encouraged to rewrite the complaint from scratch. My second submission was rejected on account of using a non-approved font, which upon raising the point that the document was handwritten, I was encouraged to speak to Karen. As it turns out, this name is shared by 3 department employees and 1 department goldfish, providing for a series of partial misunderstandings. I was then directed to attend a comprehensive complaint submission workshop, which was postponed twice and overran by at least 3 hours to capture my photographic evidence relevant to my complaint. I was instructed to await a specialized evidence capturing kit, which has since been lost in post. I'm also subjected to a multiple choice quiz to access my understanding of the complaint procedure. That quiz took over 2 hours to complete and included questions of a highly inappropriate and sensitive nature. Upon my third visit, I was denied entry to the department and I was deemed temporarily ineligible for complaint submission due to my poor quiz performance. By this point, I broke down crying. I could not stop crying for weeks. The tears just kept coming. It was like someone had thrust their fist in my chest and wrenched into my heart. I missed the birth of my first child standing in the queue when she was taking her first steps. I was too busy trying to handwrite in a serified typeface to pay attention. And all for what? I've taken You've taken everything from me, and for that you will pay. My anger and my wrath will be poured into this place, leaving nothing but destruction in your wake. So the voices of those who are trying to silence may no longer be ignored. In this final blaze of wrath and glory, I will at last be heard. So those. Ha! Oh. Question: do we try for the good ending or not? I know. Welcome in. Because I think I saw a walkthrough here for a good ending. But so, do we do it? If not, that's fine. I'd be fine ending here, honestly. But if we want to do it, we can. We can get that ending later, maybe. Ah, okay. Have it as like a partial stream, have it on the one, and then do something else. That sounds like a good plan to me. Yeah. Otherwise, yeah. I think I'm done for the night. I don't want to kill my voice again like last time because that was fun. I will say, having 2 drinks did help though, even if one of them was just cold tea at the end. So, thank you for watching, guys. See y'all in the next episode, where we will get the good ending. Bye.